Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. And no, I'm not invisible like Sue Storm. Well, or maybe I am actually, but it's an absolute heat storm here in Europe. I hope for all of those of you who are watching, maybe you're staying cool this week, depending on where you're living, because it is really hot for me. And you don't want to see me on screen right now. But today is Friday, and I still need to do a video, and we have a few things to talk about today. We do have the new data mines for the upcoming Cosmic Crucible season 17, and also the Ultimate 32 that is going to be coming next week. So I think next week, when Crucible season ends, we're going to be getting Ultimate 32, and then it's going to be going into season 17 afterwards. I also want to talk about the recommendations for the upcoming Annihilation raids. We have that in the data mines as well. Bo's Gorilla did a really nice little chart that kind of talks about that. And I kind of want to, from a free-to-play perspective, talk about whether or not we should be considering perhaps buying Hellfire Club shards with our antimatter instead of gear, because with a new raid on the horizon and the requirements looking to be higher than ever before, maybe getting the stats on the new characters of the Hellfire Club might be of more importance than actually buying out G20 gear, because maybe the long term is better than the short term. But we're going to talk about that, so let's boil this down. Okay, and before we start, I do want to, I keep forgetting about this, but I really wanted to, bring this to people's attention in case they missed out on it too. There is this Fantastic Four fan vote player poll that's still going on for like another 3 or 4 days or something, where you can get 50 energy and 50 quartz for just voting on your favorite Fantastic Four member. The images honestly looks like AI slop. Got to be honest. Like if you look at this, this does not look like the art from the game. It looks like the character, the original models, but that looks like AI. Anyways, I digress. Make sure you do that for some free stuff. Speaking of free stuff, there is another promo code you can use for summer bonus. Seems like they keep ratcheting up the antimatter a little bit each time. So now we're up to 9,000 antimatter and 450,000 gold. Eventually, we will get to somewhere decent, hopefully. But there you go. Make sure you put that in and plug that in as well to get some free stuff, because we're going to be talking about this antimatter. But I first want to talk about this. Now, this is a little chart that Bo's Gorilla made. Let's do one more. That talks about the different nodes and the difficulties and what their requirements are. So I basically want to just be over here, right? This is what we're really concerned about, is D7, 8, and 9, this kind of thing, right? Because if we remember from that blog post, they said that until you have Hellfire Club, you're probably, or in full, you're probably going to be running D7. Now, D7 requirements, the recommendations anyways, not the requirements, the recommendations, the flat requirements is purple 1. But what they think that you should have is level 100, gear tier 18, 6 yellow, 6 red. Okay? Now, that doesn't seem so bad, and that sounds honestly pretty easy. The 6 yellow, 6 red thing is interesting, right? Because for new characters, namely the Hellfire Club and maybe the Thunderbolts, you're not necessarily going to have that. But it does say 100 G18. So you can just take them to 105 G19, you'll be fine. Like D7, like most of us, should be able to do no problem. And by the way, the order, of course, is Tech, Orcus, Night Stalkers, Uncanny Avengers, Vigilantes, Thunderbolts, and 2 nodes of either Extreme X-Men in D7 or Hellfire Club. Now, in D8 or 9, this does ratchet up a little bit. And I want to talk about this. So they're recommending 105, G18, G18, 1 diamond. I thought that it was a little bit different. No, that's accurate. And then in D9, it's 105, G19, 3 diamond. Now, why does this matter? Because when it comes to the newer characters, what does this mean? This is really like if we're talking about Azazel, Rachel, and Sebastian Shaw, these are huge numbers for recommendations. And does that mean that the team is going to fail if you do not have something near this? And that's pretty important. And I do want to break down the stat differences. Like, what does this look like on paper when you have that kind of requirement? And I want to focus primarily on Hellfire Club, because I think for the most part, the rest of them are farmable. Vigilantes are farmable. Thunderbolts will be there soon. So I think being able to get to the star level part will be there in time. But for Hellfire Club, so I want to talk about Sebastian Shaw. I want to bring him up we're just going to use him anyways as an example here, case. So the requirements, can I take this image out here a little bit? And so you can kind of see it down here, right over here. So 105, G19, 3 diamond. What does that look like as far as stats go? And the purple 3, right? So I wanted to go 105, Do I need to go back out one? I think I need to zoom out one so you can get the gear. So gear 19, and then purple 3, and we're going to go 7 yellow, 7 red, 3. So what does that look like for stats and power? But 1.5 million for Sebastian Shaw. 13 million health, 700,000 roughly damage, that kind of thing. Now, is there a way that we can get this with, say, gear tier 20? Let's just hypothetically think that Scopely made this really hard, right? It's harder than Chaos Storm Raids. So you would need to have a higher power, right? And so if we want to sim this, then they're probably not far off, honestly. But how do we, because gear 20 is available, how do we potentially get that with gear 20, not gear 19? So I do want to gonna pivot back. Let's just drop this to 7 yellow, 7 red, but we'll have gear tier 20 instead of 19, right? So what does that look like? 13.3 million. What does that change into? 13.8 million. Okay, so gear 20 with 7 yellow, 7 red is better than the recommendation. Okay, now let's drop this back up to 6 yellow, 6 red. Now what does that look like? It's less. So we were at 13 million hit points, and then now Sebastian Shaw's at 12.1. So basically, if you want to use gear tier 20 instead of star ranks, you're looking at more like a 6. It'd probably fine at 6 yellow, 6 red, gear 20. But otherwise, it would be 7 yellow, 7 red. That would basically mean that the diamonds are irrelevant, that you don't need the diamonds, that kind of thing. But of course, we're not going to be able to do that, right? As free to play or light spenders or whatever, you're not going to have a 7 yellow, probably not even a 6 out of the gate when this raid goes live. So what does that really mean, though, in the grand scheme of things? Because I do want to talk about this and what I've been doing with my... Now, I realize that I'm in a different position than a lot of players, but, hear me out and let's talk about this for a minute. So I have actually been using my antimatter on a Fantastic Four. Now, I will, the caveat, I do have Xavier, right? But I do want to kind of talk about this from a perspective of not having Xavier, right? So let's put it another way. What does Xavier get you? Well, it gets you a little bit of a better position in Arena. But I've also heard that you can beat Xavier now without using Xavier. Maybe not. That's just what I thought I heard. Anyways, floating around Discord and other places. So I've been buying Invisible Woman Sue shards because I think her damage is just crazy. Invisible Woman and Franklin Richards with my antimatter, but I have not been buying Reed. Okay, I don't know, just not a big deal. Now, what I'm thinking about doing, though, is buying up the character shards for Hellfire Club to get to at least maybe a 5 yellow, 5 red position, so that with possibly gear tier 20, that would get me to the position I need for D9 of the new Annihilation raids, right? And I think that Azazel is probably not far off from dropping into the store. I believe it's 2 weeks after release. At least that's what they did before. So he should be showing up pretty soon. If not this coming week, definitely the week after, right? Which is basically just after the Annihilation raids come out. He may even be available actually this coming week before the Annihilation raids come out, because you're still going to need Rachel and Sebastian Shaw anyways. But I think it's better to do this, right, than to use cores. And I don't think that the loss, honestly, when it comes to Xavier, I don't think that the rewards loss is that significant, honestly. The difference between the ranks, there's not 50 people in your arena shard probably with Xavier. In mine, there's like 10. So realistically, you could still stay in the top 20 and top 50 if you push with, and do your arena attacks daily with the Fantastic Four. Maybe this might become harder, of course, but it's actually a pretty low difference when it comes to cores, in my opinion, because of where you can else get cores in this game on a daily or weekly basis. So that's why I just don't think that that's really all that important. I actually don't think Xavier is as important to unlock as it is to make sure that your raid teams are on top, okay? Because when it comes to the rewards on D5, now let's just take the 70%, 100%, right? This is like 1,680, 2,400 armory, 20 ore fragments. Let's just say, and we don't know, but let's just say that D9 of the Annihilation rate is 2 to 3x, what that is, what this is here. That means you're going to be getting way more gear, 20 mats on a regular daily basis than, in my opinion, what you might get out of buying it from the store. And if it so happens that you do need Hellfire Club at a specific yellow star to reach those stat goals, to be able to clear these nodes or even sim them or whatever you want to do, if you want to be lazy or if you want to manual, doesn't matter, I guess. manual, probably you can have a lower threshold. But it might be worth it long term for the rewards that you're going to get to spend the antimatter on the Hellfire Club shards to get their stats boosted up so that you can get way more Armory 20 orbs on a regular basis rather than waiting around, right? Because if you're waiting around for them to be farmable, well, that's going to be a couple of months' time, right? And so depending on what kind of alliance you're in, you know, you might want to get up to D8 or D9 as soon as you can, right? In order to do that, you're going to need the stats because without farmability, and so we go back around, right? And so that's why I am willing to put in the antimatter. And even if I did not have Xavier, I think I would do the exact same thing. At least a 5 yellow, 5 red, see where it lands with the new Annihilation raids, and do it that way. So as soon as Azazel becomes farmable, comes into the antimatter store, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Is because I should be done Invisible Woman pretty soon. Well, maybe not soon, but close enough. And then I'm still not going to do Reed, and then I'm going to start buying up Azazel shards, and I'm going to start buying other Hellfire Club members as soon as I start seeing them up as well, because I don't want to spend power cores. I'm going to keep saving my power cores. I don't want to use the orbs for that because I think it's just much easier to use the antimatter on them. I do wish that they reduced the cost, though, of some of these other characters in the antimatter store as each month goes on, because they become less relevant and obviously closer to farmability, but that's just me. Let's talk about Crucible, though, and the next season. Okay, and we are back into the data mines here for Cosmic Crucible Rules Season 17. Now, no surprise here, but we do have a global rule for Blastar. It's called Short Fuse. Blastar characters, when attacked, gain +1 bomb burst, gains +20% to primary stats. On defense, this is the same actually, so it's just the bomb burst stuff. So when he gets attacked, right? I have not used a Blastar yet, so I imagine this is going to be very good. Perhaps it's going to be in the Ultimate 32 next week as well, which I think is just going to have 3 rooms. It might have some of the rooms from this season that's listed here, though. So the first room, room 1, we have Glass Cannon on offense and defense and offense, whatever. Striker characters spawn with Safeguard. They have minus 90% max health, but they have 100% damage. I think I've seen this before. So this is better for characters that are fast. Spawn with 5 Deathproof, and Fortifier characters spawn with Taunt. So maybe maybe Fantastic Four. I don't know. I don't play Crucible that seriously, but obviously you want faster characters on Striker, so that they end up doing a crap ton of damage. Room 2, Blood Transfusion on defense and offense. All characters on turn gain bleed. With bleed, gain +5% damage per bleed, and then when applying bleed, gain. Okay, so a lot of bleed crap. I feel like we've maybe had this before as well. I'm not sure. I'm trying. I don't know who bleeds a lot, right? Night Stalkers, maybe. Orcus, right? Doesn't Nimrod do bleeds? I thought. As far as other ones go, I don't know. Do we have a lot of bleed characters right now? I'm just trying to think of the. Accursed, right? Don't they have bleed? I thought. I didn't level them up. Room number 3, Legends. On defense and offense, legendary characters gain +20% base stats. On turn end, gain assists now. And then on turn, spread positive effects to adjacent allies. So that's interesting, but I feel like we might have had this as well. But you're not going to make a legendary soup, are you? But you might be able to use, obviously, some of the more recent characters. Obviously, Blastar, right? This might be a very great room to put Blastar, although I thought he was more of a offense character. Quasar, Shadow King, that kind of thing. The more recent characters you might want to throw in here. That could be a thing there. Room 4, Mutant Double on offense and defense. Villain mutant characters. Whenever a villain mutant character uses an ultimate ability, revive an ally villain mutant character at 100% health. Okay, so Hellfire Club, right? And then there's some other ones, Shadow King, stuff like that you can put in here as well. This can only occur once per character using their ultimate. All right. Room 5, we have Fester on offense and defense. All characters at the end of turn, characters with trauma gain +1 bleed. All right, so if you don't clear it or get rid of it, you're going to get a bleed, I guess. That doesn't seem too impactful. That's just me. It seems like they're bringing back Seer's Avengers again, or they're trying again, maybe. I don't know if it looks different. You know, if mechanically it looks different or not. You know, freeze the video if you want to take a look at it. But, I mean, it looks pretty much the same. City Global Cosmic Ally thing. I mean, that seems similar. But, yeah, maybe they'll go do another go at it and actually make it work this time. And then finally, now this one is an Ultimate 32 thing because the coding is different. Instead of Season 17, it says E6. And it's My X-Men. On offense and defense, Xavier characters. This is the first time they're calling out mythic characters, but there you go. Xavier counts as Uncanny X-Men, Immortal X-Men, Extreme, Astonishing, and Unlimited X-Men. So that's going to be powerful. Namely, with Unlimited X-Men, probably because they're the most recent Cosmic Crucible team, and having Xavier count as a member for them is going to be pretty crazy. So that's something to look forward to with the Crucible next week, and also going... Oh, right, I forgot. I'm always zoomed in there. And, of course, for the week after, when we actually get into the proper Cosmic Crucible Season 17. So that's it for this video, everybody. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, especially when I talked about antimatter. You know, using it for Hellfire Club, maybe for kind of more free-to-play, light spenders. If you want to do the top-end raids, that might be a thing that you might need to think about, or at least, you know, indefinitely be considering upgrading them to gear tier 20 and trying to double dip, at least with a few of them. I don't know about Rachel, but Azazel and Sebastian Shaw, right? You might be able to get through on the Xavier Saga by using them, and I know some people did with Azazel as well. And then just making sure that you have the stars on them as well. I think that all of this is, you know, making sure that your raid team can clear the top content is going to be more important than maybe getting Xavier a couple days or even a week early, you know. So I think that buying the shards to the characters, at least getting them up to 5-5, I think might be a priority, and that's what I'm going to be doing. But let me know what you think. Maybe I'm crazy. That's it for now, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Stay cool, stay safe and healthy and all that, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.